Hello everyone, it's Tony here. In this video, I'll be going over simple complex fractions. Now let's dive right in. Here's the first example. 10 over 6 over 28 over 18. We will rewrite this and when we are dividing fraction by fraction, we will leave the first fraction as it is. We change division to multiplication and we reverse the denominator with the numerator. In this case, 18 will be on top, 28 will be on bottom. Now we can simplify because 18 and 6 can both be divisible by 3. So 18 becomes 3 and 6 becomes 1. And 28 and 10 are both divisible by 2. So 10 becomes 5 and 28 becomes 14. Now we do the final step, which is multiplying them together. 5 times 3 is 15. 1 times 14 equals 14. So our answer here is 15 over 14. Here is the second example. We're going to rewrite this. 32y over 18 divided by 26z over 36. So we'll do the same as before, leaving the first as it is, changing to multiplication, reverse the denominator with the numerator. Now 36 and 18 are divisible by 18, so 18 becomes 1 and 36 becomes 2. And 32y and 26z are both divisible by 2. So the 32 becomes 16 and the 26 will become 13. Now we multiply them together. 16 times 2, 32, over 13. And don't forget the variables. So there's a y and z. So the answer is 32y over 13z. Now let's try another one. In this scenario, we're going to look at our common denominator from both the numerator and the denominator. We can see that there is x here. So what we're going to do here is we're going to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by x. For the numerator, we're going to use distributive property where we multiply like so. So we have 2x times x, and then we have plus 4x. And the denominator would just be 7x over x. So if we rewrite this, we will have 2x over x plus 4x over 7x over x. So we can cross out the x and the x here, and that leaves us with 2 plus 4x over 7. And that is our answer. Let's try another one. In this scenario, we see that we have denominator y, so we're going to multiply both numerator and denominator by y. Just like the last problem, we're going to do distributive property. So for the numerator, we will have 4y over y minus 6y. For the denominator, we'll have 2y over y plus 3y. Now this crosses out and this crosses out. So we end up with 4 minus 6y over 2 plus 3y. And that's our answer. Now here is the next question. Now we see different variables, y and x. So what we would do is multiply by common denominator. For the numerator, we will have multiply by xy, same way with the denominator. We want to make sure that whatever we multiply on the numerator, same thing we do on the denominator. So again, doing the distributive property, we will have 5xy over y minus 3xy over x. For the denominator, we will have 4xy over x plus 2xy over y. So we can cross this out, cross that out, cross this out, and cross that out. Then we will have 5x minus 3y over 4y plus 2x. And that's our answer. Here's another example. Here we see different denominators, and we're going to multiply by each of the unique ones. In this case, 5 and 5 are the same, and then we have 3 and 4. So we'll multiply by 5, 3, and 4. So here, what we would do is multiply by 5, multiply by 3, and multiply by 4. And we'll do the same for the denominator where we have 5, 3, and 4. Now let's multiply them together. For the numerator, we have 2/5 times by 5 times by 3 times by 4. So 5 and 5 will cancel out. So we just need to multiply 2 by 3 and 4. So 2, 3 is 6. 6 times 4 is 24. So we have 24. For the second portion of the numerator, negative 1/3 multiplied by 5, 3, and 4. So 3 and 3 cancels out. We'll take negative 1 times 5 and 4. And what we will have is 5 times 4 is 20. So we have negative 20. So that will be the second portion of the numerator. Now let's get to the denominator now. We have 3/4, and we're going to multiply by 5, 3, and 4. In here, we're going to cross out the 4, multiply the 3, 5, and 3. So 3 times 5, 15. 15 times 3 is 45. So we have 45. And the second portion in the denominator, we have 1/5 multiplied by 5, 3, and 4. So here we'll cross out the 5, take 1 times 3 times 4, that will give us 12. So we have a positive 12. And now we're just left to the last part where we're going to take 24 minus 20 equals 4, 45 plus 12, and that equals 57. So the answer is 4 over 57. Now let's try another one. In this example, we see the denominator 2x and y. So what we'll do is multiply by 2xy for both denominator and numerator. So I'll bring it down here. Y times 2xy is 2xy squared. So I'm going to put 2xy squared here. Next, we have a negative 6 plus x over 2 multiply by 2xy. Now here we can see 2 and 2 crosses out. Then we just need to take negative 6 plus x multiplied by xy. And what we would get after multiplied by distributive property, we would get negative 6xy plus x squared y. And that will be the portion where we place here. Okay. Now let's get to the bottom portion. And I'm going to erase this portion so we have more room. Okay, so now we have 4 over x multiplied by 2xy. And x crosses out, so we're ending with 8y. So that will be 8y here. Now for this portion, we have negative 2y multiplied by 2xy. Y crosses out, we will end with negative 4x. So that's where we'll put here. For the numerator, I can see we have x and y. So 1x and 1y. And that would be 2y minus 6 plus x. And for the denominator, 8 and 4, we can take out 4, and that becomes 2y minus x. And that will be our simplified answer. Let's try another one. For this example, we have x and y. So what we will do is multiply the numerator by xy and the denominator by xy. So we got xy crosses out with xy, and then we have 4x minus 9 on the top. For the bottom portion, we have two different denominators, so we're going to multiply them separately. 5 over y multiplied by xy. And so y crosses out, we leave with 5x. The second portion, we have negative 4 over x multiplied by xy. Crosses out the x, we're ending with negative 4y. And that's the answer for this one. Here is another example with negative exponents. So what we do with negative exponents, we want to rewrite them first. So for the 4x to the negative 1, we want to rewrite it as 4 over x, as we move the negative 1 to the denominator and reverse the exponents. Then we will have 1 over x to the third over 5 over x plus 1 over x squared. Now we look at the denominator and we see that x to the third is the biggest, so we're going to multiply x to the third from both numerator and denominator. So multiplying 4x by x to the third, we crosses out the x, this one becomes 2, so we have 4x squared. For the second portion, we have 1 over x to the third multiplied by x to the third. That crosses out, it becomes a plus 1. And for the denominator, we have 5 over x multiplied by x to the third. Cross that out, becomes 2, so we have 5x squared. And the last one, 1 over x squared multiplied by x to the third. Cross that out, this becomes 1, which is just by itself, so it's plus x. And that is your answer. Here's the final question. By looking at this question, we can see there are two unique denominators, x minus 2 and x plus 1. So what we'll do is multiply x minus 2 and x plus 1. For the numerator, 4x minus 2, x minus 2, x plus 1. This crosses out, so we're ending with 4x plus 4. For the 6, we can cross that out, becomes 6x minus 12. Now we're going to erase this to make room. Now we're going to work on the denominator. So we have 3x plus 1, x minus 2, x plus 1. We'll cross this out. And we end with 3x minus 6. And the second portion, negative 5 over x minus 2, x minus 2, x plus 1. Cross that out. We have negative 5x minus 5. Okay. Now we're just going to add up the x together. So we have 10x. And the number minus 12 plus 4 minus 8. And for the denominator, 3x minus 5x equals negative 2x. Negative 6 minus 5 is negative 11. So our answer is 10x minus 8 over negative 2x minus 11.